Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So the moment you've all been waiting for, the 2023 Masters Mr. Olympia lineup has been announced for men's open bodybuilding and the other divisions as well. We're also going to cover 212 and classic physique while we're in here, but we're going to start with open bodybuilding. So for open, you've got Fred Biggie Smalls, Joseph Piersante. I was surprised to see Josh Lenardowitz on this lineup because of the fact that he's been out of bodybuilding for so long because of that brain tumor that he had, or that tumor in his skull. And this is kind of his comeback show, the Masters Olympia, which I didn't even realize he was over the age of 40, but he's 44, so he does make that cutoff. You've got Kamal El-Gargni, former 212 Mr. Olympia champion. Obviously, we just saw Kamal compete in the Arnold Classic in the open lineup. Didn't really go as planned for Kamal, but it should be interesting to see how he does here. You got Ken Jackson, Logan Robson, Marik Olenjenzak, Max Charles, who I feel like we haven't seen him recently on a bodybuilding stage, so that should be interesting as well. And I believe he won the Romania Muscle Fest Pro, and this Masters Olympia is in Romania, so it's a show, or is a place that Max Charles has already been victorious a few years ago. You got Michael Eli, Michael Lynn, Phil Clahar, who gave Ian Valier a run for his money at the 2021 Tampa Pro. Robert Bernica, who's a guy we haven't seen compete in a long time. He's been fighting MMA. I have no idea what his current physique looks like, but I know that back in the day he was known for having these crazy big arms, and he was a guy that I followed. I believe he competed at the New York Pro around the time that I was familiar with him, was leading up to that show. You've also got Ron Stevens, Rusty Jeffers, Sergio Lima, Slavoj Bednar, Tony Lagreen, Vinny Galanti, and Vladimir Agrinsky. Now, there might be a name here missing that you guys were expecting to see here, and that would be Hidetada Yamagishi. So the reason for that is because Hidetada is competing, but he's competing in the 212 category of this show, which I was actually kind of surprised to see. So on one hand, you've got Kamal doing open instead of 212, and then on the other hand, you've got Hidetada doing 212 instead of open. Both guys have competed in both divisions outside of this Masters Olympia. But we'll talk about 212 in a minute. So look, honestly, I was impressed with the lineup on one hand because it was a little bit deeper than I thought. There's like 15 guys here. There's a lot of recognizable names, which is more recognizable names than I thought there would be. But on the other hand, and no disrespect to anybody competing, I was a little disappointed in the fact that we're not really seeing any major champions aside from Kamal El-Gargni. He is an Olympia winner, so that is a major champion. But as far as open bodybuilders go, you're not seeing obviously any open bodybuilding Olympia champions, and I don't even think honestly you're seeing any top 3 open bodybuilding Olympians. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, looking at this lineup, I don't think anybody in this lineup for men's open bodybuilding outside of Kamal El-Gargni, who won the 212 Olympia, has placed top 6 at an Olympia at any point in history. I know that Josh Lenardowitz was 9th twice. I don't think Max Charles was ever in the top 10. So while on one hand I do think this is going to be a competitive show and this is not going to be just a small lineup and someone, just runs away with it, I think this will be very competitive. There's a lot of very different physiques, very different names, quite some range to the 15 guys that are in this lineup. But I was a little disappointed to see there was no, aside from Kamal, no former Olympia champions, no top 3s, no top 6s. And I'm kind of looking at this and I'm thinking that maybe Josh is the only guy that cracked the top 10. So to me, as far as serious contenders to win this Masters Olympia, I'm really drawn here towards Josh, Kamal, and Max Charles. And I believe Josh is the youngest of those guys, being 44 years old. Kamal's in his 50s. And like we mentioned, Fred Biggie Smalls being a big name, he's 60. So I don't know. Again, part of me, I don't mean any disrespect by saying I was disappointed. But again, for the Masters Olympia, if you compare to 2012, you had Dexter Jackson winning the 2012 Masters Olympia, Tony Freeman in 2nd, Dennis James in 3rd. That's a pretty solid top 3. You wouldn't be surprised if you heard that top 3 and you were talking about the Open Olympia. But like I said, I believe here outside of Kamal, nobody in this lineup has been a top 6 Olympian at any point in history. So before we get into the other 2 divisions, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about this men's open lineup. Was this about what you were expecting? Are you overwhelmed? Are you underwhelmed? Were you expecting more? Were you expecting less? And based on who you see in this list, who are you expecting to be the front runners here? Like I said, my picks would really be Josh, Max, and Kamal. Those seem to be the guys that would probably be the most competitive here. Now, personally, I see Josh as the main front runner here because he's the youngest. He's got one of the more impressive resumes here. I believe he's the highest Olympia placing, again, aside from Kamal. And he's got some really impressive placings outside of that, as well as winning that Ferrigno Legacy a few years ago. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who are your front runners, and what did you think of this lineup? Now, moving on to some of the other categories here, you've also got classic physique. So the classic physique one was a little interesting because you've got Alex Cambronero, who is still kind of one of the front-running guys in regular classic physique now. I actually didn't know he was over 40. So you've got him, you've got Ali Amare, Daram Charles, Daweed Geller, Dion Harris, Eric Perkins, Esteban Smith, Greg Rando, Javier Martinez, Kelvin Hinde, Luis Garcia Martinez, Michael Perez, Olashomo Oni, Peter Scalio, Richie Chan, Ross Caesar, Shanti Mitchell, Thomas Connolly, and Vladimir Markov. So clearly, I think the front runner there is Alex Cambronero because maybe, like a lot of you guys, I don't recognize a lot of those names. But like I said, Alex is still highly competitive right now in classic physique. He's still a top placer. He recently won the Arnold Classic in classic physique. He's still a top Olympian. But honestly, yeah, with classic physique, I don't think there's a whole lot to discuss there. I think Alex Cambronero is the clear front runner. Daram Charles is really good as well, but I have a hard time believing Alex Cambronero would not be the guy to win this show. He's still on top of the classic physique division today, regardless of what his age is. So I would think he would be the by far favorite to win. So 212, I think, is a little bit more competitive here. This is where you got Hidetada competing, but you've got Ahmed Fazi, Anwar, Darwish, Ali, Bola Ojex, David Henry, Derek Farnsworth, Fernando, Naronha de Almeida, Hidetada Yamagishi, Jeff Williamson, Ji Chang Kwan, Jim Everton, Johnny Shreve, Masoom Butt, Milton A. Martinez, Ricardo Plata Duran, Ryan Walters, Steve Thayer, Wayne Williams, and Zohir Miobi. Obviously, David Henry is a guy that I'm looking at here. Hidetada is a guy that I'm looking at here. Bola Ojex, he is still currently a competitive guy. Ahmad Fazi as well. Overall, though, honestly, I was kind of hoping to see Hidetada jump in Men's Open because that's what he was competing in when he was younger, and that's kind of what the throwback would be, is seeing him in an open lineup. But I do think that looking at this 212 lineup, he's one of the front runners in the 40-plus Masters here. And I do also want to mention that during this live stream announcement on the Olympia TV YouTube channel where they discussed all these divisions, Jay Cutler was a part of that stream, and Jay Cutler did kind of hint that he might be doing a guest posing there at the Masters Olympia in Romania. So it seems like my guess was correct about that guest posing, because I figured if they were having him involved to such an extent with the Masters Olympia, there had to be some kind of end game or some kind of big thing that he was doing besides just attending the show. The fact that he's such an integral part of this thing led me to believe that the timing of the Fit to 50 transformation being around almost the exact same time as the Masters Olympia, it's too good to just be total coincidence. But also, here's another question for you guys. Now, looking at this lineup, do you think Jay Cutler could have won? Would he have been the favorite to win? Because look, I know a lot of people were talking shit about Jay when it was a conversation whether or not he could come back and compete in the Masters Olympia, saying he's not even a shadow of himself. There were a lot of people that were pretty negative about it. But looking at this lineup, I don't think it would have been unrealistic for Jay to come in here and immediately have been a favorite to win. Now, it doesn't look all that unrealistic. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, all that good stuff. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.